Hello class. This week, we'll learn how English evolved from Old English to Middle English during the medieval period in England that lasted from 1066 to 1485. First, the Anglo-Saxons spoke a language that later developed into Old English. After this period, new conquerors arrived in England. Their influence changed English society and gradually transformed Old English into Middle English. During the Middle Ages, one of the most important literary works was written, The Canterbury Tales by Geoffrey Chaucer. To understand this literature, it is essential to study the social and cultural context of the time, since this helps us better understand the themes and writing styles of the authors. Alfred the Great was king of Wessex from around 886 to 899 and one of the most important rulers in early English history. He successfully defended his kingdom against Viking invasions and later negotiated peace that helped stabilize the region. Beyond his military leadership, Alfred promoted education, literacy, and Christianity. He supported the translation of important works from Latin into Old English so that more people could read and learn. His reforms in law, military organization, and learning strengthened his kingdom and influenced the future development of England. In 1066, after the death of strong leaders such as Alfred the Great, England was conquered by the Normans under the leadership of William the Conqueror. This event marked the end of the Anglo-Saxon period. The Normans forced many Anglo-Saxons to become serfs and brought significant social and political changes. They also ended the use of Old English as the official language. Since the Normans spoke French, it became the language of the aristocracy and the ruling class, while Latin remained the official language of the church. Middle English was the form of English used between 1100 and 1500. It developed after the Norman conquest, when the Anglo-Saxon language mixed with the language of the Normans. The conquest of 1066 began almost 200 years of strong French influence on English language and literature. Middle English literature belongs to the medieval period, which is divided into four sub-periods: the early period, the 13th century, the 14th century, and the 15th century. During this time, literature included not only creative works but also political and ecclesiastical documents. During the Middle Ages, society was organized under a feudal system imported from France, which created a clear social pyramid. At the top was the monarch, who ruled the kingdom and granted land to the nobles in exchange for loyalty and military support. The nobles governed large areas of land and protected the kingdom, while knights served as trained soldiers who defended their lords. Vassals were individuals who received land from a lord and promised loyalty and service in return. Merchants were responsible for trade and the exchange of goods, contributing to the growth of towns. Farmers and craftsmen worked to produce food and essential goods for daily life. At the bottom were peasants and serfs. Peasants worked the land, and serfs were bound to the land they worked, serving their lords in exchange for protection. Feudal society was based on oaths, obligations, and loyalty, which were its most important values. Feudalism reached its height between the 800s and the 1200s, and gradually disappeared during the 1400s. During the Middle Ages, kings ruled under the idea of divine right, which meant that people believed they were chosen directly by God. For this reason, kings were considered responsible only to God, and not to their subjects. They had the highest authority in the kingdom, and made important political and military decisions. To govern effectively, kings relied on lords and other nobles, who helped them control different regions of the country and maintain order. During the Middle Ages, knights served their lords and were granted land in exchange for their military service. They were trained soldiers who defended their lords' territories and fought in wars. Their lives were guided by the code of chivalry, a set of moral and religious principles. This code required them to fear God, serve their lord with loyalty and courage, protect the weak, help widows and orphans, and live with honor and glory. Knights were also expected to obey authority, tell the truth, keep their promises, respect women, and defend the honor of other knights. The code of chivalry shaped both their actions in battle and their personal conduct in society. The Norman influence had a strong impact on the English language. After the conquest, many new words, literary forms, and social ideas entered England from France, and more than 10,000 French words were incorporated into English. This greatly enriched the vocabulary and changed the character of English language and literature. At the same time, the Catholic Church played a central role in education, and universities such as Oxford and Cambridge were established during this period. As a result, Latin became the language of the church and scholars. The influence of different social classes can also be seen in vocabulary. Words used in daily rural life, such as cow, sheep, and pig, come from Old English, while the names of prepared foods, such as beef, pork, and bacon, come from French. In general, words related to government, culture, and polite society often have French or Latin origins, while common household words usually come from Anglo-Saxon roots.